The Morrison government is trying to project calm on climate change. Everything's fine. We're on track. Don't worry so much. So it was not impressed when the City of Sydney passed a motion earlier this year declaring a climate emergency. The government's resulting efforts to discredit the council have developed into a major political scandal, centred on this man, Angus Taylor. Lord Mayor Clover wrote to the Environment Minister, Susan Lee, informing her of the council's declaration. It was Angus Taylor who wrote back, suggesting the council could reduce its emissions by limiting unnecessary air travel. He claimed the council's own annual report showed it spent an extraordinary $1.7 million on international travel and $14.2 million on domestic travel. His office gave the letter to the Daily Telegraph before Clover had even seen it. To back it up, his office sent this document, which doesn't match the online version of the annual report. Within the detailed breakdown of charges by councillors, all the numbers for stationery, phone calls, conferences, training and childcare are exactly the same, down to the cent and formatted the same. Even the travel bill for spouses is the same. But the domestic and international travel bills for councillors themselves are radically different. $4,000 for flights interstate somehow became $14.20, which became $14.2 million. Taylor's office insists it downloaded a different version of the report from the council's website on September 9, but so far has refused to release that document, just the few pages released to the Telegraph. But the council strongly refutes this, saying the PDF and Word version of the document have been there, unchanged, since November last year. Screenshots of metadata provided by the council support this, and 730's own checks of the Wayback Machine, a site that archives snapshots of the public internet, shows matching versions in March, April and June of this year.
My staff had stressed to the Daily Telegraph that the figures were wrong, and they said they were going ahead with the story anyway because they got the information from the Minister's office.
The Sydney Mayor can't believe that no one, not the journalist, not Angus Taylor's staffers, not Angus Taylor himself, thought the figures were a bit strange.
We would have all spent all our time in the air, 16 million. I mean, you would think the journalists would think, but this can't be right, this is crazy. If someone had presented it to the Minister, you think the Minister would have thought, this can't be right, this is crazy. But none of that happened.
Mr Speaker, as I say again, I'm advised that the document... Members on my left.
I need to hear the answer. I've said it repeatedly.
The document was drawn from the City of Sydney website and it was publicly available. Now, I reject the bizarre suggestions and assertions being peddled by those opposite.
It was noticeable that Mr Taylor did not repeat his claims about the travel spend in question time. And the next day, on Friday evening, a time slot famously used by politicians for putting out the trash, the Minister issued a statement saying he would write to the Lord Mayor to apologise for not checking the numbers.
I've made the statement, I've said in that statement that I'll be sending her a letter and I don't have anything more to add to that today. We'll be sending the letter this week.
In the statement, the Minister said, "I reject absolutely the suggestion that I, or any members of my staff, altered the document in question. The opposition says it looks like the documents were forged, and that's a serious allegation. Under New South Wales law, forging a document in an attempt to influence a public official carries a penalty of up to 10 years in jail." Labor has referred the matter to the New South Wales Police Commissioner.
He's distracted. He is scandal prone. In the latest scandal, he needs to say exactly why it is that his office forwarded on fraudulent material to the Daily Telegraph to have it published in order to, bear this in mind, in order to attack a mayor.
The government says the printed version of what Mr Taylor says his office downloaded from the council website is proof of his position, and that if there is a question over the fact no one else can find an online record of this version of the figures, it lies with the council's website management. The only way the issue can be settled is if investigators can access the records of his office's visits to the City of Sydney website, which parliamentary privilege means Mr Taylor must voluntarily give. Government sources insist that the Minister and his office will make all records available if there is a police inquiry. The opposition will keep up the pressure because it believes Mr Taylor is a weak link in the government after controversies about water purchases and about land clearing on a family farm. But Angus Taylor is not one for backing down.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.